Hi, welcome to The Buzz, Cincinnati's Underground Business Voice. I'm here with Rick Sammons.
Yes.
Right? And Rick has got a company called Right Path Business Advisors, right? Did I get
Correct.
that
Right.
Okay, so far so good. And you're a CFO for hire.
Yes, I am.
Okay, now a lot of people don't know what that means, and I'm kind of unclear. So what does CFO for hire mean?
Well, a CFO for hire helps the owner of a company make sure their accounting operations run smoothly. When they get frustrated with, I didn't get into business to do accounting, I didn't get in business to do financial statements and bank recs, what I do is I come in and make sure their accounting system gives them that information.
Okay.
Reconciles the banks, statements, deals with tax issues as they come up, sales tax, property tax, things like that.
Okay.
Coordinate with an income tax person, because I don't do income taxes myself.
Okay.
So the CPA firm that does the income taxes for the company, I will coordinate, make sure they get the reports they need, the information they need. So it sort of takes some things off their table of the owner.
And you're coming in a much higher level. You're coming in like they've got to, in order to you know, they almost need a full-time CFO, but they can't afford the full-time CFO, right?
Right.
So
they're having issues. Like I always call it a frustration, because sometimes it's they have a one-time, we bounced some checks, had some bad, maybe the bookkeeper wasn't doing things or keeping things in order, or cash flows dried up for the company for a while. So I come in and help make sure that they've got keys that they can check against before they do certain actions. It's like to prevent errors.
I often say people like you help me understand cash flow governance.
Right.
Right? You know, it's like, hey, this is where you're at. Here's how you got here. Here's what you need in order not to get there again. You know, here's where your ratios need to be.
Right.
Here's how you need to communicate that in an effective manner with all the players that be. Is that fair?
Right. And I'm part of the analytical, you know, the percentages and stuff, but also I delve into the detail and say, okay, here's your maintenance expense, here's why it's gone so high. You've been spending money on this kind of maintenance, maybe more than you've been in the past.
And
you have to make a choice.
Do you help me identify where I can start to look at those different resources to get down that road of reducing those expenses? I
look for opportunities for cost savings for the company. I will talk to owners, I will talk to managers of the departments just to see, you know, what happened. You know, especially if I see an incident where something went negative. Say, how can we prevent it from going that way in the future? And whether it's additional training, you know, if we had a fork truck accident and caused inventory damage.
I mean, one of the most powerful things you do is you can help justify your engagement every single time.
Right.
Because of that advice that you're giving those. I mean, so it's like there's really it's zero loss for someone to sit down and engage with you, because at least the time that they're going to gain back from getting clarity there, they're going to get that time dollarized back. But you're helping them understand it right in the P&L.
Right.
So they're going to gain that back, right?
Well, and I also try to I point out, you know, when you do a financial statement every month, you know, if you haven't reconciled, if you haven't kept up to date on some of the adjustments that need to be done, you're at the end of the year and you're not really knowing what your profit and loss is. So you've been making decisions on hirings and firings or buying equipment or not. And all of a sudden you go to the end of the year and the accounting people come in and they say, well, we got to account for your depreciation and things that you didn't book during the year. All of a sudden what decisions you made would have been totally different if you'd have known about those going on.
You're getting that in real time.
And I get it, you know, I keep them up to date monthly or more frequently if they need.
Rick, what does your perfect client look like? I mean, when I'm hearing this, I'm thinking consulting firms, people that have a lot of employee that are labor centric or a lot of payroll, because they got to know really what those numbers are, right? Because, you know, they're selling staffing with them to other larger firms, right? You know, so ramping up the right employees, the cost of recruiting, all those things have to have a really tight, you know, they have to really know the triggers. Is that fair?
Well, they do. My niche that I target is manufacturers that are a little older, that maybe have been doing the same thing for a few years, and they need some fresh blood, maybe to
new set of eyes
to look at the books to say, you know, your maintenance is in one account. You need to break it up so that you know who you're outsourcing it to and when you're buying supplies and buying tooling and things like that. So that, again, as you're making decisions, you get the right information to say, where's the problem?
Yeah, it goes down to the department, to whoever's using this stuff.
Right. So, and then, you know, in manufacturing, because costing is so important, especially now with inflation starting to hit certain industries.
Would a process consultant, would a management consulting firm, would all those other strategic consulting firms that aren't hitting the P&L, that are not advising to the P&L. Are those good potential strategic partners for you?
Good strategic partners, yes. Consultants that deal with the owners as far as maybe strategic planning. Coaches that deal with either the sales force or
do you ever find
president.
bookkeepers that get up and over their head could bring you into, or is that being a vehicle?
Well, the bookkeepers usually don't have that decision authority.
Okay.
They might, if it's an outsourced bookkeeping service, they might.
So they got to have that strategic advice to the CEO. That's when you're the best.
Right. When they're influencing the CEO to say, you really need to have more controls over your books.
How'd you get into this?
I spent 25 years in accounting. I was a public accountant. Spent some time in internal auditing. And then I spent 12 years in corporate accounting with manufacturers. Not my first. So really being able to bring the variety of jobs I've had. I've worked with a software company, worked with manufacturers of various types. So my focus is seeing the variety of people that or companies that have done certain things, trying to pick the best practice out of those, and saying, okay, yeah, I could do payroll, but these companies do payroll so much better than I would ever do it, and the risk is mitigated by they take care of the tax payments, and you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, and you can quarterback all that, so they get that without putting you on salary.
Right.
So you're getting the best of every world. 30 years of experience, don't have the $200,000 a year salary. Right.
And then my perfect fit is somewhere 20 to 25 hours, so a month as opposed to 40 hours a week. Yeah. So you don't have that overhead.
We're moving to a nation of outsourcing, and you're just getting on the train, right?
Right.
Rick, you've been buzzed, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
My